One.
Hi, my name is Margaret Wood, and I'm here with Trent Fisher. I'm going to ask him a few questions about the earthquakes that have been happening lately in California. Trent, on Friday, March 28th, there was a rather large earthquake that hit the Los Angeles area. Where were you that day?
I was actually just got back to my office. I forgot some papers there. I needed to go back there to get something. I was in my office, and all of a sudden it started shaking, and it was quite an experience.
So it was pretty intense, huh?
Yeah, I wasn't really prepared for it. I was just in the middle of grabbing some papers and it started shaking. And this big old bookshelf fell over. I was a little freaked out. I'd never really experienced anything like that before.
So after the earthquake, or as it was happening, what was your first initial reaction?
Well, my initial reaction, I knew it was an earthquake, but it was just kind of more like, I wasn't prepared. I didn't really know what to do. I was just I wanted to get under my desk, but by the time my brain really processed what to do, it was already over. So I really didn't do much except for sit there and panic. So.
Have you ever experienced an earthquake before?
I did one time when I was really little, but I don't really remember that well. I was half asleep, and my parents woke me up and were like, we got to get outside. And by the time they did that, it was over. So I don't really remember that well. So this was the first time that I really experienced anything like this.
But you've been a resident of California your whole life, am I right?
Yep.
And you've never experienced one other earthquake?
Yeah, and the earthquake I experienced wasn't even in California, so it was actually in Nevada.
Wow, so earthquakes aren't very common here then?
Nope.
So to have two in the last month, there was another one on March the 17th. It was a little less on the scale, but
I didn't feel that one, but I did hear about it. My grandparents, I think they were a little closer to the center of where it happened, because they called me right after and asked me if I was okay. It's kind of I didn't really feel it, and they were like, oh, our whole house was shaking. So
to have two happen so close together in the last month, what do you think could be causing those?
I don't know. There's a lot of changes. It could be climate. It could be, a lot of different things.
How often do you hear about bad weather in California?
I mean, we're pretty lucky in California. We have pretty good weather. I know it has been a little weird weather this year. We haven't gotten much rain, but I don't see why that would cause earthquakes. But
I mean, who needs rain?
Right? But we're pretty lucky here. Not really that much bad weather ever.
Okay, so if there was an earthquake and you knew it was going to happen tomorrow, how would you prepare?
Well, I would definitely, want to talk to my friends and family and get some sort of plan set up in place. I definitely want to get, preparations, food, water, maybe a meeting point somewhere secure that I know isn't going to crumble on me.
Right.
I wouldn't want to be in my apartment because it's kind of old. But, yeah, I definitely want to be in a safe place more than anything.
Speaking of friends and family, how did they react to the big earthquake last week? Did you call them?
Yeah, I was at the office, and the first thing I did after I got outside and locked the door, I called my roommate just to see if everything okay, because our apartment's 2 stories, so I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to come home and everything wasn't destroyed, or I didn't need to get anything on my way home. And he said that it was okay. He was actually in bed when it happened, and he kind of freaked out too. His bed was shaking. He didn't really know what to do. Pretty much the same thing I did, but I mean, the building was fine. Nothing got broken really or anything like that. But
so you didn't have any personal property that was damaged?
No, everything was okay actually. At work, some stuff fell over, but it was nothing that really major. But yeah, my apartment was fine, which was really my biggest concern. That's why I called my roommate as soon as I was done, just to make sure I didn't need to do anything on my way home.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how prepared do you think California was for the earthquakes that have happened?
0. We don't get many earthquakes here, so I mean, maybe we do, but they're small. All the ones that I've ever heard of, I've never really felt. I've known a few people that feel them, but it's nothing ever that really freaks us out. This was the first time that I've ever really kind of been scared about one. So I think people, even when it's not a super big one, if they feel something, they kind of start to freak out just because it's something different.
So after you personally have experienced an earthquake, and for future reference, when you decide to purchase a home, would you consider purchasing insurance for earthquakes?
I definitely would, because it's something that you can't really predict. If it does happen, then you definitely want to be covered for it. I wouldn't want it to happen and my house be destroyed and then just be out of luck.
Right. So knowing the dangers and risks that are involved here in California or even on the West Coast with earthquakes, although you've been a resident here your whole life, would you consider moving anywhere else?
No, we have the best in California, so I mean, there's nowhere I'd rather be.
Pretty comfortable here?
Yeah, we have good weather, good vibes, so I would never go anywhere else.
Okay, well, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Margaret. Stay classy, San Diego.